Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake Baseball on the mic here, coming at you with games 4 through potentially 6 of the inaugural USBL World Series between the AL representative and the Chicago Freeze, and the NL representative and the San Francisco Seals, the darling of the USBL, the Cinderella. It should be a good set of USBL games, so if you're excited for it as I am, make sure you smash that like button, and shoot, if you happen to be brand new too, make sure you go ahead, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for me as well on top of that, as we'll go ahead, get things underway here with game number 4. Chicago does come in with a 2-1 lead. It's been pretty competitive overall, but Joey Gallo not striking out or even hitting a home run, hits it where there was not a fielder available. Joey Gallo hits a grounder down the third base line. They had the shift on him, and it didn't work whatsoever. And Alex Verdugo, he's going to take advantage as well. Joey Gallo is going to be brought home, and just in a blink of an eye to get the top of the second inning started. Chicago will end up striking first here in game number 4. And we will see Chicago take an early 1-0 lead here. They could extend this out to a 2-0 lead as well, as Alex Verdugo is going to try to get home and beats the throw. That was not in time whatsoever, and the Chicago Bats, they're on to a pretty fast start here. Logan Webb's a little bit bamboozled, a little bit shaken up, so manager for San Francisco is going to come out and trying to make sure that Logan Webb is all right, see if he can calm down a little bit here, and he sure does. Ends up striking out Kyle Seager for the second out of this inning. We'll see if he can get out of it without any further damage from being done. Michael Brantley as runners on first and second here. And still 2-0 lead here. Logan Webb with the delivery, and Michael Brantley puts a shot into this one, and it's gonna be gone. A 3-run home run, so a fantastic start for the Chicago Freeze here early, and they will take a 5-0 lead here. But we know that San Francisco was simply not going to lay down and quit, as that almost was a ground rule double right there, but instead it just barely bounces off the wall, and Nick Castellanos gets a stand-up triple. Doesn't even need to slide, not even necessary. And this lineup for San Francisco is deadly. You got guys like Josh Donaldson in this lineup as well. And even though Josh Donaldson will end up grounding out to Jose Abreu, we do at least also see a run on the board here for San Francisco, trying to chip out a little bit. You can't get it all back at once after the big inning that Chicago had back in the second inning. You just gotta hope that Logan Webb can come through and, play some more clean baseball. Unfortunately, Michael Brantley might be the kryptonite though. He had a home run back in the second inning and is going to go ahead. He gets a double as well here in the top of the 5th inning. So another runner in scoring position. In San Francisco, they go to the bullpen. They go to Nathan Olivaldi, and they're going to take on Xander Bogaerts, who's 0 for 2 on the day so far, but has a 3-0 count and forced to throw a strike. Xander Bogaerts is going to take advantage, and Chicago opens up the lead here in game number 4. They now have a 7-1 lead. Joey Gallo will strike out though shortly afterwards, but man, Chicago has certainly came out and play here to start this game. They're up 7-1 already. So pretty smooth day for the bullpen, or at least it should be for Chicago, even though Chris Bassett did not last very long whatsoever. Pause. But bullpen, they got a 6-run lead to work with, so no pressure on them or anything like that. Just gotta play free, gotta play relaxed. But Ozzy Albies has something else to say about that though. Ends up getting another run home. Gonna be the second run scored for San Francisco. Is now bottom of the 5th inning. Gonna be a strikeout on Paul Goldschmidt, and is gonna end up being struck out, and that is going to go ahead and end this 5th inning. Chicago is going to take a 7-2 lead. So now, Jose Abreu comes to the plate here, top of the 6th inning. We'll see if they can get that run back or not. And how about that? They do go ahead and get their run back in a big way. Solo shot for Jose Abreu. 6th home run of this postseason. Tyler Metzak now having to come in for San Francisco because Nathan Olivaldi not necessarily getting the job done. So Reese McGuire going to come in. He's 0 for 1 so far in the day, and he's going to be back-to-back. It's carrying out of the ballpark, and it's going to also be gone as well. So 2 solo shots in the same inning. We saw one from Jose Abreu, and we'll also get one from Reese McGuire as well. And just in the blink of an eye, it's a 9-2 game. And now San Francisco, they go back to the bullpen. Again, this time going to John Curtis, trying to get things smoothed out and at least making sure there isn't any further damage that is going to be done. But yeah, this is just a tough time to be alive if you're San Francisco to start game number 4. And now we're getting to the later stages of this game. You know Aroldis Chapman, he can do some really good stuff. But Dominic Leone, he's been a solid pitcher as well. Just an ERA slightly over 4, but given how high scoring some of these games have been as of late, it's been doing pretty well for him overall. But that being said, San Francisco will get themselves back into this game a little bit. They will chip at it thanks to a 2-run shot from Randall Grushek, 5th home run of the postseason, as they go to the bullpen again. JB Wendelken facing Gabriel Arias, who has struggled at the plate at times, but will also at least get a base hit. This could at least drive in 1 run. They're going to send him home. Arias with a double, but can he get the RBI? Yes, sir. Does end up getting the RBI on top of that. And will go ahead and get it out to Will Harris. 7th game is down. Bottom of the 9th inning, Nicholas Castellanos going to go ahead. He's going to hit a shot out into left field to try to get the rally going here. They're down by 4 runs, but don't tell that to San Francisco. If any team can do it, it's these guys right here. But Salvador Perez represents the final out here in game number 4 and is going to hang on now. This might be another run. It's going to be a close play at the plate, and he's out. Castellanos is thrown out at home, and that's how game number 4 ends. Wow, what a painful way to end the game. And Chicago will take a commanding lead in this series. They'll be up 3-1 now. So with that being said, that does mean, because it is a 3-1 lead here, we could potentially see a champion be crowned in this episode. But at least they got another game here in San Francisco. And then if San Francisco finds a way to win this game, even then they got to go back to Chicago to play game 6 and 7 if game 7 ends up ultimately being necessary. But San Francisco can't think about that right now. There's been some teams in the past that have been able to overcome a 3-1 game deficit. Can the San Francisco Seals be considered one of these teams? And we got a good matchup here. Rick Slade, a rookie, comes in for San Francisco. His first start of postseason takes on Alex Wood, who is going to go ahead and make his second start, but has struggled a tad here in this postseason. And we're going to see that here early on, as Alex Wood already has the bases loaded for himself here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Seth Beers at the plate. Been hot in this postseason. It's going to keep that going as well. The lows for Alex Wood just going to keep going, man. He had a really bad first start and is going to have a really bad second start here as well. The 2nd home run of this postseason for Seth Beer. And just in the blink of an eye, it's a 4-0 game here. And San Francisco, they are a type of team that is going to keep their foot on the gas pedal. Gabriel Arias, he was at first base. He's going to actually steal second and just barely made it through. Chris Taylor almost got him. It was a really close call, but they will end up calling him safe anyways, as Victor Reyes couldn't do anything with it, though. Couldn't ends up stranding Gabriel Arias. He ends up getting stranded at second base, but still really good start here for San Francisco. They are still up 4-0, and Rick Slade, you haven't seen any offensive highlights for Chicago right now. It's not like Rick Slade's getting like a lot of strikeouts or like anything like that. He's just making some good timely pitches, man. I gotta give respect where respect is due, because Rick Slade, this is his first season and also making his first ever postseason start, and really is living up to the moment right now and helping the San Francisco team, put together a pretty solid lead. They're going to be up 5-0 here after Paul Goldschmidt gets the RBI single. And we're even in the meat of this lineup still. Nick Castellanos here at the plate, of 5-0 right now, and he's going to find a way to get a grounder through in there. Ozzy Albies is going to end up getting home. So now it's a 6-0 game here. San Francisco, look, if they end up losing this series in this episode, I will say this, at least they aren't going to go down fighting. At least you can say that. But Ian Kennedy, he did come into the game because, frankly, Alex Wood has not lived up to the standard needed, to win a USBL World Series. So trying to make sure no more damage is done. But Ian Kennedy, honestly, has not been doing that much better. We see another run scored there as well. So San Francisco, thanks to Salvador Perez, gets that 7-0 lead here. And it leads to Josh Donaldson. Remember, Josh Donaldson is a pretty good batter in his own right. He's batting .280 in this postseason. He's batting 7th. That's how good this San Francisco lineup is. When you have someone as good as Josh Donaldson batting in the 7 hole. That is insane. And that's part of the reason why San Francisco has been able to make that Cinderella run, because of how good their offense has been. And Josh Donaldson, able to execute as well, is going to get another base hit. That's going to bring home Paul Goldschmidt. And it now makes it an 8-0 lead here. As now, Chicago, they do go to the bullpen. Oliver Perez does come in. He's been doing some good stuff overall. 2.7 ERA. And at least there will still be a run score. Don't get me wrong. But a fly out could be a lot worse. Good execution by both teams there. Doesn't really help Chicago, though. They're down 9-0 in this game right now. Backs are certainly against the wall as of right now. So Chicago's got to get some runs in, and they got to get them in yesterday if they want to go ahead and make sure that they win this series on the road. And Rick Slade starting to show some cracks a little bit. We talked about how great he's been so far. But that being said, though, does end up giving a run finally, and that is going to end Rick Slade's day on the mound. Still probably could have pitched one more batter, but wanted to pull him now before it was considered, a couple batters too late. And makes good job by Rick Slade. He did what he was supposed to do out there. And now leaves to the bullpen. Nathan Olivaldi, let's see if he can have a better appearance this time around. Top of the 6th inning, facing Kyle Seager, and gonna get a ground out. So San Francisco, they do end up getting out of that inning, but the Seals still have a commanding lead here. 9-1 lead. And Chicago, they just haven't had timely hitting. They had a similar, number of hits that San Francisco has. 7 hits for Chicago, 10 hits for San Francisco. They just haven't been able to string them together necessarily. Hopefully that changes here, as Xander Bogaerts might not necessarily... Oh, it actually does end up dropping. You love to see that. But there we go. Little RBI single. We'll see if this is enough to get a little bit of a rally going. Get Chicago back in this game, as Joey Gallo, we know that he's able to bang, but not really banging here in game number 5. He ends up striking out, swinging on a pretty bad pitch on the outside. So 2 outs there, but Jose Abreu will end up making up for that, though. Gonna be able to get at least a double, and this might be a base clearing double as well. This brings in 2 runs. So that brings home both Xander Bogaerts and another Chicago Freeze runner. And Jose Abreu gets a 2-run RBI. And now it's down to a 5-run difference. 5 runs separate Chicago and a USBL World Series. Joey Gallo looking to bang, and he does. 2-run shots for Joey Gallo, and look at that. That's his 10th home run of the postseason. And you know things are getting serious when you have to bring in the real closer, Brad Hand, to try to shut things down. But momentum is swinging towards Chicago. Jose Abreu is going to go deep as well. That's almost a home run in his own right. So there's another person in scoring position in Jose Abreu. It's not the tying run, but it does help Chicago in a big way. Alex Verdugo, he's got to come through, though. It won't do that against Brad Hand. So now, back down to our final out. Chris Taylor at the plate. He's been pretty good in Game 5. 3 for 3. Bunch of singles, but cannot come through in the clutch. That ends Game number 5. And San Francisco is going to win this 5th game. They keep the series alive, but they got to go back to Chicago. San Francisco will win 9-6 with Seth Beers player of the game. So that does leave game number 6. And guys, I'll tell you what, if this goes to a game 7, we will have a separate premiere for it. So either way, regardless of whether San Francisco wins or if Chicago Freeze wins this game, this will be the last game in this episode, man. So we'll see what both these teams have. Chicago, they are back home after dropping 2 of their last 3 games on the road. So we'll see what San Francisco's got. We'll see what they can do here as we check out the summary here. As, again, it's been a really competitive series overall. No one has really blown the doors off of anybody else. And if there was like a huge lead, it at least was gone to a point where, you know, other team was at least able to chip back at it and show some fight. But we got a really good pitching matchup here. Noah Syndergaard and Blake Snell are both on the mound here for their respective teams. So a little battle of aces here in game number 6. Could see a lot more different of a tone here, as Noah Syndergaard, he's doing some pretty good stuff so far, but Salvador Perez wants to set a different tone, and it's gonna be deep into left field, and it is gonna be gone. 5th home run for Salvador Perez. So San Francisco Seals, they're gonna strike first. Will that be the only run that they'll technically need? Because we know what Blake Snell can do. But wait a minute now. Things could get just a little bit interesting. Both Blake Snell and Noah Syndergaard have given up home runs to not necessarily batters in the meat of their respective lineups, but, the role players for both teams are doing a fantastic job of stepping in here. So now we see Chicago with a 2-1 lead, and that's what will remain. It'll remain a 2-1 lead for these guys. So we're here in the top of the 8th inning. Ozzy Albies, he's going to send a shot out into right center field. It almost ends up leaving the ballpark, but does end up getting runners in scoring position. Oh man, will San Francisco, they got last gas. It's been 2-1 for quite a while. We'll see if they can hang on here as Paul Goldschmidt. 1-1 count, gets it down the right field line. Can Joey Gallo get there? It does, but that does also mean San Francisco gets a run back on the board, and things are all tied up at 2 apiece. And this is what champions are made up of here, as Nick Castellanos tries to drive in the go-ahead run, but ends up striking out though. So Will Harris comes into the game, his 9th appearance, but has given up at least 1 run in every one of his appearances so far. And that's also going to be that 1 run. So Josh Donaldson helps Chicago be given a 1-run deficit. But even then, bottom of the 9th inning, Brad Hand's got to bring it home. Force a game 7. We'll see if he can do it, as Aaron Hicks, he's got a runner on first base, but he's going to end up going ahead and doing some window shopping. And that's going to be a strikeout for him. Which brings up Jacob Stallings. 0 for 3 so far in the day, but could potentially play hero. But it's going to be a double play, as Jacob Stallings just simply is not fast enough. 0 speed. Like, that is the worst possible speed that you can even have. Oh, man, that is absolutely tough. But that being said, though, San Francisco does end up winning game number 6. So after 6 games of competitive World Series action, this series is still tied. So what that does mean for you guys is we got one more game to play. Game 7 that's going to determine who wins the inaugural USBL World Series. Will it be the favorite in the Chicago Freeze, or will it be the Cinderella, the darling, in the San Francisco Seals? We'll find out a couple days from now, where we will see the USBL Game 7 of the World Series in season number 1. It will drop as a premiere 2 days from now, so you're going to want to make sure you tune in for that. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed the content in today's video, make sure you go ahead, leave a like on this thing. And then also as well, if you're brand new and you made it this far, feel free to go ahead, hit that subscribe button as well. I would truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. But with that being said, this is JohnJake Baseball. Going to go ahead and sign off for now, but I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.